Hello and welcome to today's video. Today's going to be a little bit different. We are joined by a very special guest. You guys know and love him.
It's me.
Hi. It's my husband, Keegan. Today we are going to be cutting into our wedding cake. Now I promise it was a lot prettier on our wedding day, but the freezer has done some work to it. So we are going to cut into it and taste it. Honestly, I feel like neither of us really remember what our wedding cake tasted like because it was like such a blur. So we're going to be tasting our wedding cake and we're going to be discussing a little bit about our first year of marriage, the things that we learned, reminiscing a little bit. We've been married. Tomorrow it's going to be 1 year and 1 month. With the cake, I'm going to be enjoying
wine.
My beverage, which is elderberry emergency, because you may have already been able to tell from my voice, but I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so I know the cake is probably not going to do it any favors, but you know. Plus, emergency tastes pretty good, you know. Keegan, what beverage are you enjoying?
Milk. I love me some milk.
I love that. Ooh, this looks good. I hope the audio is okay. Our kitchen tends to be kind of loud and
echoey, and hopefully you can't hear the refrigerator.
But you know, we're amateurs. We're making do with what we have.
Still pretty good for being in the freezer for over a year.
That's really good. It's very moist. I'm sure the freezer kind of helps with that.
Surprisingly good.
Okay, shall we get into it?
Well, first thing, we're eating cake, so I eat a lot better than I used to.
That's true.
One thing that has happened since we've gotten married is I've gotten more worried about my weight because she's going to make me fat.
I feel like your palate has really expanded since marriage. You were, and still are a little bit, a pretty picky eater. So I was a little bit nervous about that going into marriage because I really like to try.
She is a foodie.
Yes, I love trying lots of different things, making lots of different things. So I was a little nervous that you wouldn't enjoy things. And most of the time, you really like my food. Tonight, however, wasn't his favorite. I made some spaghetti squash, trying to be healthy, and you didn't hate it, but
it wasn't my favorite dish.
Yeah, you definitely weren't a fan, and I'm gonna have to try to get you to eat leftovers because we made a lot of it.
It's just been quite an adjustment to, I don't know, I didn't really like sit down to eat really or do much of that before I got married, except like when I was at home with my family. But I was in college for a year and I ate in my bedroom. We didn't actually have a table where I lived.
That's
so
true.
I usually ate at my desk doing homework or in bed or on the couch by myself. So that's also been an adjustment.
So I prepared a couple of things to talk about. The first one is that the first year doesn't have to be your worst year and other people's experience isn't yours. I feel like a lot of people were like, the first year is the hardest, or when we first got married, they'd be like, give it a few months, you know, it'll get hard.
You'll hate each other eventually.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with the first year being your hardest, but I don't feel like that was us. Maybe you would say something differently.
No, first year's been really easier than I thought. Like hard in some ways, just adjusting, but that's just how it is whenever you move in with anybody.
Yeah. And like, that's not to say we didn't have any hardships or any struggles, because that definitely
no fights, no nothing.
That definitely isn't the case. I don't know if long distance helped with that. Like, we communicated a lot and really got to know each other through the phone. But also, you have a real servant heart, and so you're just an easy person to get along with. So I feel like that really helps with us living in peace and harmony. You just have a lot of good qualities that I feel like people don't get mad at you very often. So I think like maybe our second year, maybe our 7th year will be really hard, but everybody's story is different, and I know that there's going to be lots of trials and lots of victories to come, but I'm excited to see what the Lord has for us.
I'm really excited. I know that much. Oh, are we toasting after everyone?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Most people don't normally do cheers with milk and emergency, but that's the quirky kind of people we are.
Oh yeah.
We're just preparing ourselves so that we can say, once we have kids and they're getting married, like, I can't believe you're marrying into our crazy family.
We have this theory that every family thinks they're like super crazy. Like
quirky.
It's like a joke, like every time it's your first time to go to reunion, they're like, I guess they didn't leave after meeting us. We're just so crazy. Don't get me wrong, there are some families that are definitely crazier than others.
Yes,
but as I feel like everybody has their own little crazy side.
People are the same about their states, like their weather is so different than everywhere else.
Yeah.
Only here has crazy weather.
Gotta love living in Ohio.
Oh yeah.
Gotta love Kansas. Another thing that I realized lately, especially, is that hard conversations really make me feel close to you. Whether it's finally admitting something that's been bothering me, or you opening up to me about something, or even just resolving a disagreement. Afterwards, I feel so much closer to you, and it's just so worth it, even if it's like a hard conversation in the moment. So that would be a piece of advice, that hard conversations are always worth it. I feel like I sound so different. My voice is definitely getting more hoarse throughout the night, but it's okay.
Talking. Yeah, and along that line, one of mine was like how much your expectations will change how your relationship goes, because I feel like a lot of the disagreements we've had are like little things have been mostly because like one of us has had an expectation, like often kind of a silly expectation, like something we were raised with, or just some weird quirky thing that we've gotten mad about. So like one of the things that I've really learned is like managing expectations, basically just throwing expectations out the window, because I've married the person that I've married, and that's just how it is.
You're stuck.
Yeah, well, not saying that, but I get to learn to love the person that I married, not learn to change or try to change the person that I married.
That's good. Yeah. Something I could still learn. I feel like I still am learning to throw expectations out the window a little bit. There you go.
An expectation of always having perfect hair. See?
Man, always trying to fix you.
Toss it. One of mine with the expectation, like all the feelings, how fickle feelings are. Like feeling super in love, that's just not how it is all the time.
Yeah.
Not to say like I dislike her all the time or anything like that. Like I really like the person that I married. But like you don't always just feel crazy in love or crazy connected or stuff. You just go through life together, and that's, I don't know what I'm trying to say with that, but
yeah, feelings are kind of irrelevant, which is something that we're learning, whether it's in our marriage, in relationships with others, and especially like in our relationship with the Lord. Like I feel like our culture, and just it's probably always been this way a little bit, a lot of emphasis is put on feelings.
Follow your heart, follow your dreams.
And I think it's kind of in different ways, but both of us feel deeply. I think in different ways, but we both can kind of struggle with letting our feelings get in the way of the truth. A great way to bring feelings into a relationship, though, is having fun together. I feel like it's so important. It kind of reminds me like why I fell in love with you, how you are like actually my very best friend, and we have so much fun together. We both are kind of competitive. Not that that's always fun, because we've definitely gotten mad at each other over like a game or a competition.
Don't ask about go-karting. don't ask.
Yeah. But just like taking time to slow down and spend time together doing things that you love and taking it back to why you fell in love, the things that you enjoy together, having fun. Life's definitely going to bring trials and hardships, and it's not all fun and games. But I think that it's important to incorporate joy, incorporate happiness, to keep that relationship alive. Am I boring you?
No, my word. It's a long day.
Yeah, it's also like 8:30 here, so this is kind of a...
wake up at 5:30.
Yeah, we'll try not to keep this too long.
I know, I have to get put to bed. I get tucked in. Oh, I was going to say, like, that's... Yeah. Like, we were friends long before we liked each other. And we liked to hang out and do things together, like, often competitive things. Like, play spike ball or whatever. But, like, I mean... When we started liking each other, it was on a kayaking trip, and we were like jumping off bluffs together and stuff like that. Like, we liked to do things together, and that's something that defined our friendship before it defined our relationship, romantic relationship.
And I think every couple has some of those things, whether they were friends before or not. Like, you have those things that just bring you together, that you have so much fun doing together. And I think it's super important to kind of slow down and spend that quality time. Quality time is also my love language, so I love doing things with you.
I love. And let it be said, we've been married for a year. We're not giving advice.
Yeah.
We're just saying what we've learned.
So far. We have a lot to learn.
Oh my goodness.
We have a lot of life experience ahead of us.
'Cause I don't want to put this out there like, oh, look at us, like we're just doing fantastic in every way.
I don't know if anyone thinks that, but you know.
I hope not. And if you did, you know better now.
I was kind of talking about love languages. Another thing that I had down, I guess that kind of goes with it. I had a thought, like, marriage is the best way to practice serving, even if it doesn't come naturally, because for me, something like other love languages that aren't mine don't come naturally. Like, it's super easy for me to spend quality time with other people because let's go do something fun, let's have some good conversations. But when it comes to acts of service or physical touch, that would be one of your love languages. Like, I feel like it's an act of service to go out of your comfort zone or what's not natural for you. I think acts of service is something I definitely want to get better at in our marriage and definitely in the world and the relationships around me. Because that doesn't come naturally. I'm like, let's just have fun, let's talk, and sometimes it's just like doing things behind the scenes of serving people. And so I notice in marriage it's a great place to practice even just small things of doing things for you, and it's definitely something I'm still working on.
Yeah.
Something you do great at.
Sometimes.
I feel like you do a lot better at it than me, but yeah, it's something I want to get better at, and marriage is a great place to start.
Yeah, and nobody wants to just be the person who's like, oh, I just want to like faithfully serve other people all the time. Like, I never want any credit. I just want to like be behind the scenes and faithfully serve someone. And that's what marriage is. Like, marriage is all about just faithfully serving the other person, even if you don't get credit for it, even if like they're mad at you and don't like you and don't care that you're serving them at the moment. I mean, I've definitely just been like grumpy and whatever. But like staying with the person and continuing to serve them even when you don't get credit and you don't get affirmation or validation, like that just goes back to feelings not really mattering that much, because this is what I signed up for. I signed up to serve and love.
Yeah.
Because love is an action, not a word.
And even if you're not married, or in our other relationships, our relationships with the Lord and our ministries, like, that's just huge, and it's hard with pride and our flesh kind of getting in the way, but definitely an important lesson to learn. And I think it's something that we have to always be cultivating and always be learning and growing. I guess for some people, they like to be behind the scenes and they don't like a lot of attention.
I don't.
But
I want to be up front.
that's not a lot of us, and we like to get credit. We want people to notice us, we want people to praise us, and that's not really what the Lord calls us to. Okay, I have one more thing that I have down here. I think this is one that we're like really recognizing right now, is cultivate good habits before marriage, and afterwards you have to work hard to keep them and set goals for yourself. I have always been a messy person. I don't like to admit that, but I just have been.
And I have never been a clean person.
And like when I got married, I was kind of clean in the beginning because I had a new apartment and I was going to prove to myself that this time it was different now that I have my own space. And in some ways it can be better because it's after a while I'm like, okay, this needs cleaned now or else I can't think. But it's like a habit. That's just one of the habits that we just have to always be cultivating and we need to continue to work on.
Because we're bad at it.
We are not always the cleanest. We don't always cultivate good habits. Not even just that. Like sometimes screen time and that sort of thing we could definitely get better at. So if you're about to get married, this is like such a good time to cultivate good habits. And if you're like us and you're already married with some bad habits, it's not too late. I think that you just have to set goals for yourself, and we found little ways to help, and we just kind of have to keep
plugging away.
Life's not always fun. Sometimes you have to clean.
Be a servant behind the scenes and do the dishwasher. Well, my other two things were like how intentional you have to be and what true love actually looks like. But I feel like we were kind of talking about that. Like true love doesn't just look like
butterflies and
romantic little kisses in the park, just floating through life on a cloud of love. Nope.
Marriage can have butterflies and romance, but it definitely does not define your marriage, does not define your love for one another. And I think it's fun and it's healthy to cultivate romance, but
I still get her flowers. It's been a while, but I do.
And yeah, just being intentional. Feelings are not relevant. If you take anything away from this, it's that. And I could continue to take away from that.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with the rest of this?
Freeze it for next year. Stay tuned.
I feel like, I don't know if it's going to be good if you like freeze it and then thaw it again. I don't know.
Let's just cut off a slice and freeze it for next year, see if it's good.
Okay, that sounds good. Because this is like a lot of cake. This was like the top tier.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a tradition for everyone, right? That you freeze and eat your wedding cake.
Drop a comment down below.
Yeah, let us know. Is this like a normal tradition or just kind of something that our families and our like friends kind of grew up doing? So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. We are going to go to bed. We're kind of tired. This was kind of a late night chat. If you would like more content like this, of course with Keegan, and maybe just like us sitting down and talking about different topics, definitely let us know and let us know. I think we both enjoy doing this type of thing, but it's hard to know like
I do enjoy talking to you.
what people are interested in hearing about. So either drop a comment below or let me know in my DMs on Instagram. I will have my Instagram handle here and a link in the description below. Thank you all for watching. Please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It definitely helps out my channel, and subscribe if you're not already for more amazing content.
It is pretty good. Remarkably good, some would say.
Sometimes, yes. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys next time.